My fellow Americans, as President and Commander-in-Chief, it is my duty to the American people to report that renewed hostile actions against United States ships on the high seas in the Gulf of Tonkin have today required me to order the military forces of the United States to take action in reply. The initial attack on the destroyer Maddox on August 2nd was repeated today by a number of hostile vessels attacking two U.S. destroyers with torpedoes.
Vietnam, 1959-1975. In war, there are no unwounded soldiers. Jose Naroski. A French colony since the 19th century, Vietnam fell under Japanese control at the beginning of the Second World War. Vietnamese nationalists, with the support of the United States, fought a bitter guerrilla campaign to free the country from occupation. Following the Japanese surrender in 1945, nationalists under the command of the communist Ho Chi Minh unilaterally declared the founding of the Democratic Republic of Vietnam. Unwilling to see post-war France further weakened, Britain and the nationalist Chinese moved to restore French control, ousting the Vietnamese nationalists and reinstating the colonial government. The move triggered another protracted guerrilla war, ending in a French defeat in 1954. Under the terms of the Geneva Conference, Vietnam was temporarily partitioned along the 17th parallel. A nationwide plebiscite scheduled for 1956 would determine the country's future. Firm in its policy of containing communist expansion, the United States supported the anti-communist government in the South when it moved to solidify control by canceling the plebiscite. Holding an election of their own, 98.2% of the population in what would become South Vietnam supported nationhood independent of the Northern Communist regime, including an astonishing 138% of the citizens of Saigon. North Vietnam responded by sending units of the North Vietnamese Army, NVA, south and supporting the Communist National Liberation Front, Viet Cong, attempting to overthrow the South Vietnamese government. United States military aid to the South Vietnamese government rapidly escalated, with aviation playing a key role. By March 1965, Operation Rolling Thunder began a 3-year campaign against targets throughout Vietnam. Described in President Johnson's words as an attempt to break the will of the North Vietnamese, Rolling Thunder and Operations Arclight, Linebacker, and Linebacker 2 brought a dazzling array of aircraft into the most complex air battle the U.S. Air Force had fought since the Second World War. From B-52 Stratofortress heavy bombers and F-4 Phantom fighters to OV-10 observation aircraft, A-1 Skyraider, and A-7D Corsair II attack aircraft, to C-130 Hercules and C-141 Starlifter cargo haulers, and the UH-1 Huey, HH-3E, and HH-53 Jolly Green Giant helicopters, eventually nearly every type of aircraft in the U.S. inventory saw combat. As close air support, tactical air operations, and strategic bombing spread throughout Vietnam and Southeast Asia, over 6,727,084 tons of bombs were dropped, more than twice the total tonnage dropped by the Allies in the entire Second World War. In the ongoing 8-year battle, the North Vietnamese Air Force, PVAF, lost 214 aircraft in the fiercely contested skies over North Vietnam. Soviet-designed MiGs and a complex network of anti-aircraft batteries, including concentric rings of surface-to-air missiles, SAMs, made trips north of the 17th parallel risky affairs. The U.S. Air Force flew more than 5 million sorties over North and South Vietnam, Laos, and Cambodia, losing 1,737 aircraft to hostile fire, the majority to anti-aircraft batteries, 530 Navy aircraft, 363 Marine Corps, and 5,088 Army aircraft were also lost before the war ended in 1975.